Hey guys, how's it going? CoreData here, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the freshly buffed brand new archetype from Naval Warfare, Shuffle. So, this is the list. Like I said, Shuffle was a archetype pretty much introduced in Naval Warfare. While there was cards before Naval Warfare that had Shuffle written on them, Shuffle was kind of really brought in as a trigger mechanic in Naval Warfare. Primarily it's centered in Japan and France, and is built around basically two units, being the 110th Regiment Motorisé. I'm not going to apologize for my French pronunciation. I do not speak the language, therefore it is terrible. Yeah, this is a 2-cost 1-up 2/2 with Blitz. Give your units +1/+1 the first time you shuffle your deck each turn. This was one of the cards that recently got buffed. It was originally a 3-cost when released, and this was one of the strongest cards in the deck on release. I did play a lot of Japan-France Shuffle at the very start of Naval Warfare, and the deck was like fine. It just didn't do super well into how the metagame evolved. It didn't play well into things like Germany-US, for example. But yeah, this buff, making this a 2-drop, is so insane for early game tempo. Against other aggro decks, you're able to outscale them and just take massive value trades. And against control decks, this ratchets up your damage quite a lot. And the second and most important card in the deck currently is Sov Regiment. This was also buffed. It's a 4-cost 2-up 4/6. Once per turn, when you shuffle, distribute damage randomly to enemies equal to units in play. This used to read equal to friendly units in play. So now this is every single turn when you shuffle a free Shinano. And Shinano already is an extremely playable card. So a repeatable Shinano attached to a 4/6 body is pretty good. Sure, it gets hit by one-way Panzer Grenadiers, it can be suppressed, it can be routed, all that stuff. But still, the fact that we have access to a repeatable Shinano is pretty sick. It's one of the most powerful cards in the deck, and usually this is how you're aiming to close out games. As for the rest of the list, it's essentially aggro Japan with some of the more aggressive French stuff in here, as well as 1 or 2 value pieces. So we are running 4 copies of Dragons. This is one of the most insane aggro creatures ever printed. 0-cost, 0-up, 1/2 with Blitz. Cannot be deployed if you've deployed a unit this turn. So this has to be the first action you take if you're playing it. Again, in a deck where we want to have bodies on board for turn 2, where we're playing 110th Regiment Motorisé, having a 0-cost that we can just immediately play, and it's an extra body for buff, so it's really, really good in the deck. We're also running 4 copies of Defend the Nation. Draw the top non-French card of your deck, then shuffle. This is just a cheap shuffle activator. It's a free cycle. Basically, it functions the same way as like Bloody Sickle in a weird way. Yeah, we don't deal with damage or whatever, but it's a free cantrip, and we're also getting a side benefit of shuffling the deck, which is what we want to be doing. And finally, for the French cards, we're running 2 copies of the Bloche MB152. This is actually really, really good in the deck. 3-cost 2-up 3/3 fighter with heavy armor. Deployment: if it's the first unit, if this is the first unit to deploy this turn, draw a card. The big issue I had while fleshing this deck out after the buffs was finding ways of getting damage across later in the game. Because we lack the blitz tanks of Soviet and Germany, we don't have 35 team, we don't have the SU-100, for example. This deck really struggles in finding ways of getting reach across. And the Bloche is actually really, really good at doing that. Plus, the heavy armor is very good in aggro matchups. So in mirrors, we're able to very easily take value trades with the Bloche while maintaining board presence. And it holds the Motorisé buffs really, really well. So just an overall very solid unit in the deck. As for the rest of the deck, there's not too much to say. We're playing pretty much the best of the shuffle stuff. 4 copies of Duggan. This is a 0-cost shuffle activator. That's the kind of big reason we're playing it. The 1 damage is nice against other aggro decks, but primarily it's a free shuffle activator for us. Sasebo, also very, very relevant in the deck. 1-cost 0-up 1/1. We don't care about the Navy synergy. The most important part of this card is shuffle your deck when it dies and draw a card. This is really good because you can play it early, and then you kind of have this ticking time bomb on board of a free shuffle activation, and it can also activate your shuffle effects on the opponent's turn if they try to remove it. So if this makes its way to the front line, your opponent has to basically defuse a bomb in order to take the front line, because they potentially have to deal with the other shuffle effects before they can deal with the Sasebo. So it just makes taking front lines really, really awkward, and frequently this has led to my opponents killing themselves on their turn because of the Sasebo triggers, activating your Sabes and your Motorises. So yeah, just a really, really good creature in the deck. Very, 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 very powerful. Like I said, the ability to shuffle on the opponent's turn, super good. Other than that, not too much to really say. We're playing all of the best aggro Japanese elites. Desperate Measures, really, really solid. Recon shuffles, which is pretty much the only reason it's in the deck. Radiant Brigade is really good in a metagame full of other shuffle decks as well as aggro. Shinano, obviously, really, really powerful. And Anne is probably the best elite in Japan right now, alongside Desperate Measures. Just able to produce a lot of burn and a lot of reach very, very easily. As for the rest of the deck, like I said, not too much to say. Just solid value cards like Scanning Party and a few other value pieces. What I do want to talk about, though, is cards that I'm not running. A lot of you are probably noticing the lack of Shifting Doctrine in the main deck. It had been in the main deck for the longest time in previous versions that I tested. However, Doctrine is just a lot worse than Defend the Nation for the most part. Because you have to have another card in hand to activate the shuffle effect on this, it leads to situations where you have no shuffle activators, despite having cards that that have shuffle on them in hand, if you get me. So you always have to play this when you have another unit or another card in hand. It just makes it really, really awkward. It's not such a big deal that we're not playing them in the main deck because we are generating them with Dug-In, but for the most part, playing them in the main just felt really, really awkward. Several times I've had situations where I've had shufflers, or like I've had like a Sabe, or I've had like Shifting Doctrine in hand. I'm waiting for a top deck, and the top deck is Sabe, and then I can't activate the Sabe the turn I draw it. It's just, yeah, real clunky. That's the long and short. It's just a clunky card in the deck. Again, we do have access to them thanks to Dug-In, but Defend the Nation, just overall a better card. Does what this does just a lot more consistently. We're also not running the Mixed Regiment. This was fine before the Sabe buff. This was like one of the main ways of getting the damage across before Sabe got the rework. But now with Sabe being so powerful, Mixed Regiment is completely superfluous. You don't need this at all. You could also run the 3/3. Where is it? The Kure. This is also a fine card in the deck. I just couldn't find room for it. We're playing a bit more aggressively in this version of the list. But this overall, like, playing this on turn 2, plus a Dug-In for a 0 op 3/3 is pretty solid. It's very good. It holds Motor Reset buffs really well. And it's just a solid card for fighting against other tempo or aggro decks. Again, I just struggled to make room for it, really. But it's not a terrible card in the list. Two of the cards that I want to talk about are Akagi and Take Liberty. You could, in theory, make room for these pretty easily. In the current metagame, with the amount of aggressive Japan decks between Shuffle, Japan Soviet, as well as like some of the more aggressive versions of Legions, expansion has felt incredibly bad. Because you can't guarantee that you're going to have the front line in like 50% of matchups thanks to the amount of aggro in the metagame. Expansion isn't always active. It is obviously one of the most insane draw cards in the game. We are running 4 copies of it because it is ludicrous. But again, it's inconsistent right now because we cannot guarantee the front line. And against decks like Japan Soviet, we very rarely get the front line control because of Comb and Rush being so potent. So if you want to play with Akagi, I would recommend trimming 2 expansions for 2 Akagi, or trimming expansions for Take Liberty. I think this is the flex slot right now in the current metagame with the amount of aggro. But aside from that, the list is fairly solid. It does lose to itself quite a lot. It relies super heavily on finding its Motorises and its Sabes. Matchups where you don't find them, the deck really falls flat. And then you also have games where you draw a bunch of the shuffle cards and nothing to do with them, or you draw all the shuffle payoffs and no shufflers. The deck is very polarizing in that sense. It's either on or it's off, very feast or famine. But it is undeniably powerful when you do get the high rolls, which is probably why it's so popular right now. As for whether or not this deck is like tier 1, I don't think so. I think it's high tier 2 right now, given the current state of the metagame. I think Japan Soviet is a much more consistent option. It plays better into a lot of the decks that this struggles with. But overall, the buffs have helped immensely in making this a much more playable archetype. So I am happy for that. To the people that are complaining about Shuffle right now on ladder, it's not going to last, I don't think. Again, it's like a tier 2 deck. I think right now it's playable, a lot more playable than it used to be. I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to last as a meta deck. but I have been proven wrong before, so we'll see. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and on some games. Okay, game one up against US. Ooh, this is an awkward hand. I think I pitch one Blosh, and I pitch Duggan. Keep Dragons, keeps the Sable, keep the second Blosh, I think. By Motorise plus a second Dragons, which is not bad. So we go turn 1 Dragons here, turn 1 the Sable. We're kind of hoping to find a Duggan off the top, but we likely won't, which means I'm probably holding the 110th until I find a shuffle effect. Or do I just play it? It gets punished by Pathfinders next turn, right? It has to be exactly Pathfinders. I'm just going to pass. I'm going to hold it. So it's Throp. And we do find the Duggan. So we go third Dragons. Motorise. And we will ping the fresh Dragons. Get in for damage. Push Motorise forward as well. Now they can play Airborne and trade with Motorise here. Okay. I guess they didn't have it. Yeah, pushing the Motorise was a little bit of a mistake. We didn't play around 115th Airborne, which I probably should have. I was thinking more along the lines of cards like Strategic Bombing, which realistically wasn't active for a couple of turns, so oh well. Up against Britain. I've been seeing a lot more Brit control recently, actually. Raiding Brigade is probably okay to keep. If it's air, this hits most things early. Scouting Party is really good if it's going to be like handlock. Scouting Party makes it makes the crossfires really awkward. I think I'm just going to send back Defend. I'll keep 10th Recon here. Find Type 93. Oh, it's Brit US. Interesting. We find Duggan. See, the problem is, right, if I play Dragons and push it forward, this just takes free trade to develop, like, 2 Chocolate Boys, or, like, a Chocolate Boy, like another one. I don't want to burn the Duggan, because even if I do Duggan, I still have to deal with the second Chocolate Boy next turn. We'll do it anyway. We'll offer the trade here. Shenano. We'll go 10th Recon. I'm going to shuffle back this 93, I think. Oh, it's buffs. Okay. Find another Duggan. I don't think I can beat buffs if they get everything going. I don't think I have any answer for buffs. Yeah. They deploy all the Chocolate Boys. I'm gonna go Scouting Party. They have Monty. They do Monty, which is fine. I need them to just run out the buffs. Push the Recon, and I will go Scouting Party here again. They have Bocage. So they're waiting on like Kangaroo Transport then, right? They trade. They stiff upper lip to cycle. We find Motorise off the top. This goes forward. We're gonna go Motorise. We're gonna go dug in. Let's shove everything forward. I mean, our best counterplay to buffs is probably just gonna be sticking the front line full of of really annoying units. Ooh, Sabe off the top. Sorry if you see me off to the side. My cat is she's trying to get it like a plate. Okay, so we are going to go with, I mean, this probably is just a Sabe turn, right? So down to 9. Dug in plus Shinano next turn is lethal. I don't think they can't. They shouldn't be able to kill me with buffs next turn, regardless, right? Because they don't have access to the front line, they can't do like tactical retreat stuff. Delaying tactics. Oh, never mind. They might have me. Landed a free. Bow cage. They need... It needs to be tac retreat. Yeah. Of course. So we're up against Japan. This could be a mirror. This could be Japan-Soviet, or it could be Japan-Poland. Japan is currently the nation with like the most variety in what's playable. I'm gonna keep this. It's a weird keep. It's an awkward keep, but Desperate Measures is like really important. Okay, so it's a mirror. They're playing shuffle. I'm just gonna pass this turn. So find dragons. Expansion. Doctrine. Bloche off the top. See, this is the problem with expansion. With so many, like, Japan aggro decks running around right now, is it's a dead in your hand so often. I can dug in. I can cavalry regiment. I can clear this front line. But then I'm kind of, I don't know. I do need to clear the shuffle, regardless. That has to go. This will set me up to play a Bloche next turn, at least. Second Sasebo. 33rd Recon. Dug in on their own 33rd. Cycle a card. Defend the nation. They're spending a lot of shuffle early here without any payoff. We find Anne. I will just go Bloche. Find Dragons. Dragons is a good top deck if they push this this is Sabo forward. Mixed regiment. Defend the nation. Okay, so I'm taking another 2 on my turn here from the mixed regiment. This kills Sabo, I take 2 from the shuffle. I mean, I could just deploy the Sabe and threaten it, right? I could also just threaten the An. Or I could scouting party. It's tough, right? I could also, like, deal 3 to the mixed reg. But then I'm not really doing anything else with my turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the Sabe down. Second mixed regiment. Plus shifting doctrine. So I do want like a shuffle effect off the top. And they have seen the desperate measures from the well, I mean, ask and you shall receive. Okay, what's the correct way to do this then? It has to be, I have to shuffle first, no matter what. Finds a Sable. This is fine. Push this forward. I can go for scouting party here. Soul of Old Japan in hand. It's just a really awkward matchup to navigate, right? Because, I mean, they can dot their Sabe at any point. Motorise. Akagi. I still don't think this beats... I mean, again, we have to top deck a second Motorise. Yeah, this Desperate Measures is still, like, pretty solid. Find Scouting Party. Push this forward, I'll go for a expansion, because if I find a shuffle effect, like that, for example, go Cavalry Regiment. Push the Cavalry. I am going to Desperate Measures first, and then we'll shuffle with Doctrine. They have Take Liberty in hand. Yeah. Take Liberty is fine. We lose 1 card in hand, technically. Yeah. They scoop it up. Yeah, the mixed regiment versions of the deck aren't... I don't think they're all that good. I think Sabe is much, much better now. Previously, before the nerf, mixed regiment I think was the correct way to go. But Sabe is just so nuts now. Up against Japan again. This might look really weird, but in a Japan mirror, I think I'm just going to keep the Sabe, the Shuffle, and the 10th Recon here. We find Dragons and a second Shuffle effect. Find Sasebo. I'll go Dragons, I'll go Sasebo here. Push the Dragons forward. If this is Soviet... No, because they wouldn't have missed turn 1. This has to be like Legions. I will just cycle this, Defend the Nation. It has to be Legions if they just skip turn 1, right? Surely. Dug in. Still could very much be Legions. We find our own dug in. Go here. We're going to go with Recon. I am going to put back... It is Legions. Okay. I'm going to put back the Defend the Nation for now. and shove everything into the front line, because next turn I'm going to start rolling Sabe, and then turn after is going to be Ki and... They go Kyoto Regiment, taking away our Shuffler. They go with a second copy of Dugin. I will go Sabe. I will go Dugin on the Kyoto. Take the trade. Yeah, so they're gonna start rolling Tarnow next turn. Yeah, Tarnow plus Shifting Doctrine. Yep. TK early. I will go Blosh. We find expansion. Push this Sable. We'll draw with expansion. Type 93 and a second Sabe. This is very unfortunate, but I will just develop the Type 93 here. Yeah, just no shuffle effects. Again, really unfortunate. Now they get to start really rolling the Tarnow here. Lublin. Increases the cost of the An. Okay, so I'm going to go with TK early. Push it forward. Go with Sabe. Gonna go defend the nation. Pretty solid. Double Sabe is cracked. Soul of Old Japan. Take a second to think. Kyoto Regiment taking one of the Sabes. Shifting Doctrine, which is fine. They scoop it up. Okay. Yeah. Legions is like one of our worst matchups, realistically, just because if we don't get the Sabes rolling in like on time, we lose just to the scaling. But double Sabe is so unbelievably powerful. Once more against Japan. Are we gonna get the Japan-Soviet matchup just to complete the trifecta? I've played against every Japan deck. I'll keep Cavalry Regiment. I'll drop Defend the Nation. I'll keep the Dugin. And I'll keep the Blosh, I think. I mean, this is also like a fine full keep, realistically, but I think I will just drop Defend. Find a second Blosh. Cavalry Regiment, push it forward. Comb isn't the end of the world because we can just dug in to kill it. That's... Oh, well, actually, no. It's fine because we can just take the trade. I forgot I went first. I thought they had 2 creds. It doesn't tell me too much. It could very much be Japan-Soviet. Motorisa is a really good top deck here. The problem is if I'm Motorisa here, I'm still losing the Sasebo, right? Would I prefer to have the Motorisa online? See, I don't know if it's Soviet yet. Which means if I go for the Motorisa line and it gets punished by Rush, I'm just kind of sad. I mean, fuck it, we ball, I guess. If I defend the nation off the top, I will just dug in. Yeah, if I get got by Rush here, it's unfortunate. I mean, either way, I was going to get got by Rush, right? Because it kills the Blosh or it kills the Motorisa. The Motorisa at least prompts an immediate response. Kyoto Regiment, which is fine. Find dragons. Push the dragons forward, play the Blosh. Yeah, I give up the draw here this turn to try and get back my Motorisa. seeing as the Blosh now threatens the trade. It is Soviet. Okay. Good to know. Also, order. Why didn't they rush on the recon? So we have a handful of defend the nation. We'll play cavalry regiment here and not push it forward. Second rush. This time they do draw a card. This is why I didn't push the cavalry, just so they couldn't take it like an easy trade and rush. As they do have 99th Comb here. Scouting party. I'm in an interesting position, right? Because I can just take out the Type 93, puts my opponent in a really awkward spot, or I can just take the trade onto the Kyoto Regiment, Scouting Party, and then just defend the nation. Then my board is just really annoying to trade into. He can kill the Motorize with the Comb, but that's a trade. I think I'm okay with that. I've seen 2 rushes already, so I think I'm okay with this. Yeah, and the +1/+1 on the Blosh is relevant as well here with the 1 heavy armor. It means the only thing that can trade into it is the Comb. They could also just have the 3rd rush. Commit the reserves, which is fine. I don't think that was the correct commit target, though. Find dragons. Raiding Brigade is really good here, actually. Oh, 2 or less. Whoops. T. Yeah, Raiding Brigade, probably one of my best top decks in that situation. Kyoto Regiment taking the Blosh. Command failure. I will push the recon forward. We'll go for expansion here. Expansion finds expansion and TK early. I'll go for another expansion. TK early and another expansion. I will go for another expansion. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. I will cycle to defend the nation here. Shinano is a fine draw. I'm going to hold back to TK early this turn. Cavalry Regiment. They might be Shinanoing, maybe. Take the trade, find Motorize. Great draw in this situation, actually. 99th Comb takes the trade again. Expansion to draw 2. Are they going to do what I did and just draw a bunch of... Okay, rush. That's fine. This is absolutely A-okay because I can go 93, I can go Motorize. I can go... This gets me back a Blosh, right? I can desperate measures take this. No, I can. I don't know if I desperate measures and then dug in, do I get the Motorize trigger on the Blosh I get back, or is that Alright, well, so, time for science. We do get the buff on it. Good. I keep the Motorise back for a turn. I'm very wary of SU-100 here. The blow protects me from Anne, so that's not really a concern. They could also have Shinano. Take Liberty. This is, I think, equally beneficial for me. This is why I'm not a fan of Take Liberty. There's so much aggro in the metagame right now, it's just really awkward. They find their desperate measures. Expansion. I'll send back this. Expansion, draw 2. Find Duggan, find Shifting Doctrine. Go Shifting Doctrine here. I'm looking for Sabe. Duggan plus the Sabo. Okay, so I know they don't really have anything good in hand, right? I can double Duggan just to clear this. Do I care? I don't think I even care. Because given the information I have, right, they trade here, they just play Radiant Brigade, take out the Type 93, which is fine. They play the Marine Division, or Marines Battalion, push it forward. They take the front line, but I don't care about the front line because they're just dying to blow. Kyoto Regiment off the top takes the Motorise, which is fine. Take trade in the front line. Radiant Brigade takes this out. Push forward, fine. Scouting party. I mean, this is good for me. We just take this straight here. Dug in here. Take the trade, push this forward. I could push the Motorise forward. But then, no, because they can just double trade, right? Unless I spend the Duggan to completely clear this. Just so I can get the scouting party down. No, I'll wait. I'll hold. Realistically, I should have used the Motorise to take the trade instead of the dragons. Marines Battalion into Rush. Takes up to the Sable. Which buffs my entire board. Cavalry Regiment plus Type 93. I will just play the Cavalry Reg here, I think. Type 93 is not lethal, is it? No, I'm one off lethal. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. I will just trade this off, I guess. Nah. They're at 1. And that is it. GG. No, no Sabe is drawn, by the way. 7 cards left in deck. 7 cards left, both Sabes. Up against Britain? Okay. Are we gonna get buffed again after what happened last time? We'll keep Anne. I'll drop 1 scouting party. No, sorry. Do I keep the Anne here? No. Pitch the Anne, pitch 1 defend, pitch scouting party. I'll keep the other scouting party plus TK early. Dragons plus Cavalry Regiment is really good. I don't know what our air matchup is like. I've played against 0 air this season. There's an argument to get the Type 94 down early, or like that turn instead of the Cavalry Regiment. Marine Division. Okay, so this is like the control deck then. I've played against like Brit control once or twice. Yeah, Brit France. Sure. Go for Motorise. Pick the Duggan. Yeah, these expansions are just going to rot in my hand, which is really unfortunate. Defend in depth. Go for Blowshear. Find another Duggan. Find another Blosh. Find Shifting Doctrine. I will go for Shifting Doctrine here. They have a Cromwell. Yeah, so they have the Cromwell next turn. They could like Cromwell Monty, in theory. But as it stands, these two Blowshes are putting on a lot of pressure. There's the Cromwell. There's the Monty. What I really need here is like a Sabe or something. Jesus, we're finding all the expansions. God, we're like halfway through the deck and we're finding like nothing. Play the Cavalry Regiment. I will just Shifting Doctrine. Do they have Desert Rats? That does kill off my Cavalry Regiment. They could just Carpet Bombing. Yeah. Dragons. They have Desert Rats. They also have Blockade. Let's see. This is just a really awkward matchup. Defend the nation. Take it early. Seriously, where are my Sabes? Compromise. Find dragons. Find Motorise. Call to the colonies. They draw 2. There is a Sabe. Okay, push these, push this. We'll go for Motorise. No, go for type. Take it early. 6. See, they can suppress it, right? I get one big Sabe turn here. I know they have Blockade, which deals 2 to everything. The Motorise protects against that. I can't do everything next turn, I don't think. Okay. I'm just gonna fire off blockade here. They can play the commando to take the trade on the... Oh, they can just desert rats it through. They can kill one of the dragons. Another dug-in. I need to think about this turn. I can Shifting Doctrine to draw. That's putting... It's most likely going to hit the An, which I don't want to happen, right? This one's already Navy, so that's... When this dies, it's gone. So I could dug in on that. I might miss damage here doing this, but I think it's worth it to cycle. Cavalry regiment. They have Wellington. Let's see if they have another board wipe. Call to the colonies, draw 2. They have another board wipe. Desperate measures. We will go with Sasebo. Go with Sasebo. Yeah, called it. Oh my god, really? Dude, where is the second Sasebo? My opponent has had every single board clear in Britain that they've ever printed. Wellington takes out the Type 93. Sasebo! Or Sabe, rather. Guaranteed they have like another blockade in hand. Although blockade's bad for them, right? Because it triggers the Sabos. Oh, Avre's fine. You find Anne. Avre was probably bad for them, no? Realistically. Yeah, I have to spend credits on the Sasebo on the Sabe now, but like that's fine. If I push this forward, 6. I mean, now if they hit the Sasebo at all, that should just be lethal, no? Yeah. Alright, very awkward, grindy game, but we got there. Completely empty deck, by the way. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, the deck is super fun, if not super polarizing. Again, very feast or famine. You need to have both the payoff and the shuffle effects. You do lose to other aggro decks, or at least Japan Soviet most of the time. And we have some like relatively poor control matchups depending on the deck. But overall, the deck is very, very fun. Again, a solid tier 2 deck currently. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.